we were introduced by our friend Jacob Beaver, and we started talking on May 3rd. And in the first 5 minutes, I knew that this was a completely insane guy who was absolutely perfect for me, and I couldn't wait to get to know every single little bit of him. And we went on our first date on May 5th, and that's when he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I still remember exactly how I felt the first time he saw me, and exactly how I felt when he asked me to be his girlfriend. I was so nervous, my knees locked, because I knew that this was something much bigger than something that had ever happened before.
So we ended up meeting through a mutual friend, Jacob Beaver. He knew both of us for quite a while, and started out at the beginning of the year. He said that I would really like this girl named Abby Lovett. And I had heard of her before, but I wasn't sure. So a few months goes by, I keep on hemming and hawing over the idea of dating her. Finally decided to go through with it, and he gives me her phone number, and all the while joking around, laughing, saying that it would be hilarious for us to start dating. And I decided to go with it anyway. Ended up texting her from a random number saying, leave it to Jacob Beaver to give your number out to random strangers. And then from that point forward, we just kept on talking. I think for that night, we stayed up until like 2 a.m. in the morning or something long. And then about 2 days later, all during finals for me, we decided to go out to a Cinco de Mayo party. And right before then, hung out and spent some time and decided to start dating.
So Steve actually told me he loved me only 3 weeks into dating me, and I was really excited when he told me, but I kind of just giggled and told him I loved him back because I had never been in love before, so I didn't really know what it was. And over the next week, I really thought about it, like what it meant to be in love, and I definitely knew that I loved him, but I didn't know what it meant. And I wrote a poem that I use that because I know that that's the exact moment that I knew what love was. But looking back on our story, I think I fell in love with him the moment I saw him.
So I think I knew that I was going to fall in love with her very quickly, like within the first 72 hours or so of dating her, and then proceeded to like not let myself fall, but in increments. So that way it wasn't just like an all-around avalanche of emotions and feelings and distractions. And so, I mean, I knew I was going to, and then I decided to let it finally happen after about a month and a half of dating.
It was perfect. He took me to Disneyland for New Year's Eve, and I didn't see it coming. I thought he just surprised me taking me to Disneyland. But at about like 1:30, he flew in my best friend, Anna Jolibois, from Baton Rouge. And I kind of suspected something then because this was just like the best surprise that he could possibly have. And I had the best day of my life at Disneyland, and then 15 minutes before midnight, he pulled me into a courtyard. He got on one knee and he asked me to be his wife. And I knew beforehand that I wasn't going to cry that hard because I kind of knew it was going to happen any day, but I started absolutely ugly crying and sobbing. It was perfect. And then we got to walk to the fireworks together and watch them alone, and it was, to this day, the absolutely best 2 days of my life because he proposed in 2017 and we got to bring in the new year that way. It was perfect.
I wish I had all the time in the world to explain everything that went on. Suffice it to say, it was one of the most well thought out and planned things that I had ever done. All market research, everything else that I could think of, and every single plan I had fell through. Like all of it. But we're talking like 10 or 11 backup plans. We went to Disney, and then I flew out her best friend, decided to surprise her with that, all the while trying to keep it a little secret. We ended up having rings flying all over the place, me getting ticked off at this guy that caught in front of us in line at Disney of all things. Then I ended up having to crowd surf for most of the time, and got pretty frustrating, but then everything quieted down and it got perfect towards the last hour and a half to 2 hours before I was gonna ask her. And it went so smoothly, and I just saw this courtyard walking right by it. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna ask her there. And I did.
What I love most about Steve is that he is always there, exactly who he is, not anyone else, but Steve specifically. Before I met him, my biggest fear in life for as long as I could remember was being alone, and I knew that the moment I met him that was going to be something I never had to fear again, because he is the most protective, the most loving, and most consistent person, and I know that being with Steve means that I will never be alone and that he's always going to be there.
It's not really a fair question because I'm a purist. I like everything about something or I don't like it. And I love everything about Abby. I love her brain, I love her heart, I love how she thinks, how she processes. I love her undying compassion towards people who even rip her heart out. Like she purposefully shows people love because she feels a life mandate to, which is something that I've struggled with. And so for her to embody something that just does not make sense to me on a regular basis makes so much sense. And I could go down the laundry list of things that I love about her, but I think that her undying compassion is probably the top. That and her smile. Her smile's gorgeous.